In the last two videos, we learned about the importance of community building in any class and how to create a quick template for an activity in Adobe Express. Now we're going to take it one step further and show you how to create a more involved video project with your students. Having students reflect on their personal learning journey can build community with any class. You can use this activity at the end of the year or even as a mid-year reflection. Research shows that when students reflect on their work and on their lives and share it with peers, they build community. They build communication skills, and they even build a positive mental attitude towards themselves and others. In short, celebrating achievements is crucial to self-esteem. Today, I'll model a simple, quick video activity called the What I Accomplished This Year project. Trust me, it's easy. This project helps students in a multimodal way reflect on what they have learned, and that encourages students to share their reflections with one another. What I love about sharing these video projects with peers and family is that it helps student confidence flourish. All right, let's get started.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Adobe Express. And of course, the first thing we can do is we can click on the plus button, but I want you to see this as well. Down here at the bottom, you see all the wonderful stuff that we can do with Adobe Express: poster, video, presentations, infographics. So I want you to look here where it says video, right? So you can click on browsing templates because for me, I always love to get inspiration from other stuff that we're doing. So I love, since we're talking about reflection, I like looking at these to see, oh, these are different ways, of course, of adding content. So really quick on your canvas here, we have, of course, our canvas here. Down here at the bottom, we have our scene, which by default is 5 seconds. And then, of course, you just keep on adding scenes by clicking here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go to media, and I'm going to click on photos, and I'm going to type in the word student, because this is going to be my model, right? Since I'm building a template. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit until I find something that oh, here we go. I like this one. So I'm going to grab this picture. Now you can, of course, use a personal picture of one of your students, whatever you like. I'm putting her here. I'm going to crop it so it's only half of it. There, that's good. All right. So now on the right-hand side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to elements, and I am going to type in the word name tag. Well, let's see. There we go. And of course, you can use any one that you like. I'm going to use this purple one here. This looks pretty good. Grab it here and put it down. So what I'm doing is I am creating my intro here, right? So I'm going to make this a little bit larger there. And the reality is you can add anything in here. You can have your students record themselves, whatever they like, but I'm just putting this name tag here just so to set that up. I'm going to click on text. From text, I'm going to type in make this larger. I'm going to do actually look up here. And what I love about Adobe Express, once again, it gives you all these wonderful recommendations, of course, of how do you make your project look better. Ooh, I kind of like that. Hello. And then I'm going to duplicate this, bring this down, and I'm going to this student Jasmine. Right. So now we have a basis, right? So the whole thing is about reflection. So this year, I'm going to develop, there's about 4 or 5 questions that I want my students to answer. And, I've done this in several ways over the past years, but I'm going to click on add here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you what are going to be the different questions I'm going to ask, and then we're going to build this out. So one of the very first questions I like to ask my students is, What skills did you develop, and what will these skills look like in your future? So, what I'm going to do is I am going to leave this open so that way, if they want to add pictures, if they want to add movies, if they want to add, different elements, and what I mean by elements, if they want to add shapes, if they want to add, other videos, they can. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build the questions out, and I'm just going to bring them down to 3 seconds each. And so I don't have to recreate the wheel. What I'm going to do is I am going to click on duplicate, right? So now I have another scene. And what I'm going to do next is choose my next set of questions. My second set of questions are going to be, what areas did I improve? And how will these improvements look like in my future, right? For me, I love when students are, talking about their own agency, the ability to learn how to learn and apply that knowledge to solve real world problems creatively, right? But sometimes they don't get those opportunities to reflect. So that's why I love asking this question. Now, the reason why I'm making them so blank right now is because we're going to be adding different elements later, and I'm going to show you how this all comes together. But we're going to finish these out. Once again, I'm going to click here on the 3 little dots, and I am going to duplicate this. And once again, I'm going to ask my next set of questions. So my next set of questions are, what challenges did I overcome, and what will these successes look like in my future? So, challenges we've, especially over the past few years, we all have overcome different challenges, right? So this is also a great question, because the follow-up says, what will these successes look like in my future? Because we all know the more challenges you have that you can overcome, the better that prepares you for whatever future you have. I'm going to go ahead and do this again. Click on the 3 little dots at the bottom for that scene and click on duplicate. And then I'm going to ask my fourth set of questions, I should say. And here we go. And the fourth set says, what did I work towards? Right? What did they work toward? Did they have a goal? And this is something that for many students don't realize, that sometimes, we walk through life without knowing what the goals are. We allow other people to tell us what our goals are. And sometimes it's not as helpful as we think it is. So it's a great reminder to figure out, did you work towards any goals? And if you did, what were those markers? What were the steps I needed to get there? So sometimes we need to know that when we set out a goal, there are certain steps that we do in order to get there. And sometimes we just need that reminder or the reflection that lets us know how we did this. Last but not least, do this one more time. I'm going to click on the 3 little dots at the bottom, and I'm going to click on duplicate. And then now I'm going to ask my very last question. This is what I like to call the outro. And on the outro, I always love to ask the question, what do you want your future self to know about what's going on at the moment, right? So these are the questions that we have. So down here, we have our intro slide, right? As you see it there. And then we have all of our questions following up. So what skills did I develop? So, let's just say, one of the skills they developed was, of course, how to do better research, right? So there's different ways that they can do this. So under media, they can come in here and type in the word research. And it could be as simple as, right? So there you go. So they're going to be adding different components. Now, that's one way, right? Pictures is one way, but I'm going to show you something else. I'm also going to show you that they can come under media and they can click on video. On video, look at this. We can also include video. So all in here, these are all different folks doing research. So I'm going to click on this one right here. Oh, this one looks pretty neat. I'm going to click on it and you're going to see the video comes in here. Now, I'm going to do something that's really, really fun, right? So that means that, they can talk about how they got better at research. So how are they going to tell you? So of course they're using graphics. They're now using video. I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you how to insert their own voice. But I'm going to show you before we go there. I just thought of this wonderful idea because I'm going to show you how video can be very powerful, right? So I'm going to click on this video and I am going to go over here to the top left where it says crop. And I want you to see this. We can crop that video into any shape that we want. So I'm going to go ahead and make that into a circle. Why am I going to make that into a circle? Because of the spyglass. So when this thing is playing, get that, right? So that is pretty amazing. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how to insert their voice because they're going to be talking about themselves and they're going to be talking about each one of these questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from here. And I am going to go back to media and then I'm going to click on audio. Under the audio, what you see here is that you have you can record a voiceover. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to show you how to do this so that way you can show your students that they can add their own voice. And then I'm going to show you some few editing elements. But look at this. All right. So up here, you can, of course, choose your microphone. And as you can see, this is the level for my microphone. So I'm going to click on start recording. Hello, my name is Jasmine. Down here, we get to see our voiceover. As you can see, it says voiceover. So I'm going to play it. Hello, my name is Jasmine. So right there, we see that it ends there. And what we can do in order to save time, I'm just going to grab the very end of this graphic and I'm going to move it over to where it ends. And I'm going to do the same thing to the voiceover. I'm going to grab it and then bring it down here to, of course, the 3-second mark so it actually matches. So it looks a little something like this. Hello, my name is Jasmine. Right. So now we're going to follow those same steps. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and, of course, answer the questions. Right. And so once again, we're going to start here. And the question is, what skills did I develop? And what would these skills look like in my future? So I'm going to go over here once again back to media. I'm going to click on record voiceover. And then once again, I'm going to click on start recording. It's give me the countdown. So one of the things I got to learn over this summer is how to use generative technology to enhance my graphics. This is going to be amazing because it's going to help me be more creative in the projects that I deliver. Now, what you're going to see here is that my audio went way over, right? So that's not a problem. This is why it's very, very fun to work with Adobe Express. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the very end of this, and I am going to bring it all the way over to where that blue mark ends. This is how you get to edit your video so easily and quickly, right? Now, I'm going to just shorten this until it's the same length as my audio at the bottom. So what we're seeing so far is, let's bring it back. So what I love about this, right, is like, wow, now you can, of course, they can definitely add their voice. Now, once again, they could record themselves, they can upload their voice, but I'm going to show you that something that is just very, very amazing with the new and improved Adobe Express. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save my project, right? So I'm going to call this my reflection video. And we're going to come back to this, but I'm going to go back to the home base because something that I'm really excited about is I'm going to scroll down here and it's something called Animate from Audio. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Animate from Audio. And what Animate from Audio is, it allows you to choose many of these different characters that we have here, right? So your students are going to love being Toast, a cupcake, a luchador, a wrestler, right? Or maybe a cup of coffee. They could be Buster, of course, a snowman. They could, of course, be Jordan, the teddy bear. Oh, I kind of like Jordan. So I'm going to choose Jordan here. And I am going to bring him up. And then on the back end, of course, of Jordan, you can choose a background. We have a variety of different backgrounds. And what's nice about this is that they can choose any of the backgrounds, or look at this, they can upload. So if you click on upload, you can, they can upload a picture of them doing research or whatever the question is, right? So the first question that we talked about is, what skills did I develop and how will these skills look like in my future? So let's talk about the second question. So the second question was, what areas did I improve? So I'm going to show you how to use Animate from Audio in order to do that. Now, on here, once again, you can choose the character, you can choose the background, and you can choose the size. I'm going to leave it as a square because I think that's going to fit beautifully into our video that we are creating for our reflection of the year. Now, if you want to change stuff up before you begin, you can go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to put him right there. And it looks like his environment now. And of course, this gives you up to 2 minutes, right? Up to 2 minutes to record your dialogue. And of course, my suggestion is they would record one of these for each of the questions. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. And it looks a little something like this, right? The question, once again, is, what areas did I improve? So I'm going to click on record. And then the follow-up question, if you want to do that, if they have enough time, is, how will these improvements look like in my future? So I'm going to click on record. Goes the countdown. So what skills did I develop? Well, one of the skills that I got to develop this year is the ability to listen to audiobooks as I do mundane stuff, whether I'm walking or taking a hike or cutting the grass. And for me, that is my time of extracurricular learning. So since I'm learning about percussion, I'm listening to these famous drummers and talk about the way they create music and their techniques. So that is something that I improve. How will these improvements look like in my future? Well, I'm learning as I'm doing other stuff, and I get to practice once I get back into my home element. So now I click done. And what we're going to do now is we are going to wait until it processes that video. So depending on your internet, it's just going to take a few seconds. And what's happening now, it's taking that video and it's taking the audio that we just recorded and it's syncing it to our character here. That's going to allow him to speak on behalf of us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so now it's done. So now let's play and see what we get. So what skills did I develop? Well, one of the skills that I got to develop this year is the ability to listen to audiobooks as I do mundane stuff, whether I'm walking or taking a hike or cutting the grass. And for me, that is my time of extracurricular learning. So since I'm learning about percussion, I'm listening to these famous drummers and talk about the way they create music and their techniques. So that is something that I improve. How will these improvements look like in my future? Well, I'm learning as I'm doing other stuff, and I get to practice once I get back into my home element. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this. And then after I finish downloading, I'm going to add this back to my original reflection of the year video. So I'm going to show you what that looks like coming up next. All right. So now we have downloaded our video. So I'm going to go back here to where it says recent, because that's the last project we were working on. And I'm opening up my video, right? So here's my video. We have the elements here. Let's play that back again. Hello, my name is Jasmine. So one of the things I got to learn over this summer is how to use generative technology to enhance my graphics. This is going to be amazing because it's going to help me be more creative in the projects that I deliver. So now the second question is, what areas did I improve? So this is where it really gets fun. So now what I'm going to do with this video is I am going to add my the video that I created with my Animate to Audio on here. So how do we do that? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Media, and I'm going to click on Video, and then I'm going to click on Upload from Device, because remember, we downloaded our video. So I'm going to click on my download folder. There is Jordan right there. And I'm going to click open. And when I do, there he is, right? So now I get to move around Jordan wherever I want. And this is the fun part, right? So now Jordan is here. So a few things we have to know when we're here, because Jordan's audio is pretty long. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to bring this back over here. Hello, my name is Jasmine. So one of the things I got to learn over this summer is how to use generative technology to enhance my graphics. This is going to be amazing because it's going to help me be more creative in the projects that I deliver. So what skills did I develop? And you see how I cut it off? So that means I'm going to have to make sure that I extend this portion of the video to depending on how long that audio was. And if I remember correctly, it was about 40 seconds. And how can I tell? Because as you see at the very, very top, you are seeing the seconds of what it has. So I'm going to put 42. So I'm going to go all the way back here so we can play it and see what it sounds like now. Hello, my name is Jasmine. So one of the things I got to learn over this summer is how to use generative technology to enhance my graphics. This is going to be amazing because it's going to help me be more creative in the projects that I deliver. So what skills did I develop? Well, one of the skills that I got to develop this year is the ability to listen to audiobooks as I do mundane stuff, whether I'm walking or taking a hike or cutting the grass. And for me, that is my time of extracurricular learning. So since I'm learning about percussion, I'm listening to these famous drummers and talk about the way they create music and their techniques. So that is something that I improve. How will these improvements look like in my future? Well, I'm learning as I'm doing other stuff, and I get to practice once I get back into my home element. And there we go, right? So this is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. So your students can now be able, as we've seen here, they can either add photos, they can have photos within and video within those photos. And then, of course, we can also now add animation. And what you continue to do this up until the very end, right? So I really, really love this new editor from Adobe because it allows our students to show us what they know in different formats. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. But as you see here, right, this is amazing. Our students are going to love creating animation from their audio to show you what they know in different modalities. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, can't call me. So that's pretty much it. This, as you can see, will be very, very fun. And check out the other examples that we have in our Adobe Education Exchange site, where you'll see many other samples of what you can do in the classroom with your students, specifically with video.
This is the project. Remember, you can always visit us at Adobe Education Exchange to find more ideas and more projects so you can build community in your classroom. So that's it. With intentional voiceover, images, and sharing techniques, we created a student reflection video that will build confidence and community in any class. Now, let's take a moment to reflect. What can you take from this lightning learning into your own classroom practice right away? If you want more inspiration, we have tons of examples of student reflection and community building activities on the Adobe Education Exchange. In the next video, you'll use a pre-made template to share what you have learned with your community. Let's get creating.